Hey guys, how you doing? We're doing a game between Fabi versus Z V I A D I Z O R I A Izor. And we'll call him Izor. One sec, let me get my soda opened. All right, and it started with E4, E5, knight F6, knight C3, knight C4. Bishop C4, bishop C5, C3, the Italian classical variation, knight F6, D3, D6, castles, H6, rook E1, so that this could be played here, D4. Castles, H6. H6 is interesting to say the least. It has a point of, if you do H6, excuse me, I had a frog in my throat there. H3 stops the knight from infiltrating and the bishop pinning the knight to the queen. One second. Sorry. And then what happens is this stops, basically, like I said, the pin, and allows for D4 to be played. Because otherwise, if he played something like this potentially is an idea. But you could, like with the computer, say, come there, and then potentially this is far from being able to be played. But if you play back here, if you play F3, then he plays A5. You have a potential D4, which is what we would have played. So that's the idea, that he retreats back, and you come bishop here. Now, if this is taken, you take, and now you have a strong center, an open C file. A knight can jump in. You're actually dominating at this point. Probably played knight BD2. But I want to check one thing out. I want to see. Let me see here. Sorry about that. A5. Oh, sweet. So we found the best move and increased our thing of 0.2. Nice. Okay. I just wanted to see if ours was a 0.4. The other one was a 0.2. You have some games to analyze? Okay. Are they from the U.S. Championship? Oh, let's take a look here. Okay. Let's see. You want to learn from them. Okay. So, let's see. Who... Oh, a game is an experiment. The game... Oh, okay. Let's see here. Okay, E4, C6, knight F3, A5. And then, okay. Yeah, this is it. This is interesting. To say the, yeah, it's like, This would actually be the best move in that sitch. What did the person play? Yeah, they didn't play right. That's actually the sorry, I'll turn off the engine. This I'd play this because Jeremy Silman's principle is you want to take away. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Okay. Yeah. This. If you're remember, guys, there's principles that are played here. The principle is if your opponent's attacking on the wing, you usually attack in the center. If you're attacking in the wing, your opponent's more than likely going to attack in the center if they understand principle. The D4 move, which is actually the correct move, because the opponent could have actually played. Oh, turn off the engine. Gotcha. Oops, I gotta go down here. Let me see. Oh, there it is. Disenable. Gotcha. I feel ya. Okay. But I just wanted to explain to you, D4 takes away that point here, and so the knight has really only one spot to retreat to. This would be the infiltration point for the knight. Would most likely go here. Then now the person who played the bishop could play there, and if that happened, I'd retreat back something like this, and potentially more likely you could do somewhat of a Nakamura idea, and white would castle, bishop here, and potentially that may, but that gives up actually. I'm wrong about E. That gives up the, so I'd probably play something like bishop here, get my bishops out, and I don't want to develop my knight too soon, my B knight, B1, because I may want to later on play C4, so potentially D2 might be knight BD2 might be a good idea here. That's why I got my bishop out first. Then I could play knight BD2 and push to crack the center. Yeah. Oh, you'd go D5? Okay. Yeah. And then, more likely, I know this locks my bishop out, but now I've got a bind in the center. And, yeah. It would have to, really, there's really only one point to go to at this, and potentially it's knight there, but actually, I don't know if, now that I think about it, potentially maybe bishop comes out would probably be the best idea, and then knight BD2, and then something build up like here and then there. But okay, we'll get to the game though. C4 was played, bishop C4, which I believe was slightly a little. I understand white's idea. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, I see what you're saying. D5. Yep. E takes D, C takes D, and bishop check. Bishop D7. Not bad. Takes. That is really different. Huh. Yeah. That's pretty peculiar that he would trade there, because he's giving up his good bishop, so I don't know. That just looks like it helps you out. And that looks like it helps only your position, because you now have a developed knight. You have a bishop. You can bring your queen out, and so, and there's really no counterpart to this pin. So you actually have a pin now. This bishop can't retreat back to block it. So this pin is forever. So potentially after this pin here, you can play something like that. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, taking wasn't the best idea. I don't know why the opponent took that. They'd be better off to have taken this bishop, because now he had the imbalance is he's got two knights. You have two bishops. And I think your opponent was probably thinking that maybe it's going to end up a closed game, but you have an active rook, which is really rare for this position. So there. Hmm. Sec. Okay, let me take a look here. Let me take a look here. So e6. That's different. I was thinking if there's any way we can retreat our bishop back to c1. Yeah, I was just thinking, is there any way that we could do this? Like something like this, then that. But then I realized that surrenders this square here to the knight, and so we don't really want to do that, because then he has that there. He's got control there and here, and so he's kind of dominating. That if we ever try to like challenge it with something like this, he could actually just play there and say to us, really, what are you gonna do? Can you really kick my knight out? No. So I think you were forced at that point to play there, and that's kind of like a force. Yeah, there's really no way to save that knight. If you did, you would have ended up in a very unhappy position, let's just say. So queen g4. So f5. You have a potential g6, which maybe g6 would have been a better idea. And if he plays there, you always can retreat back, and so if he castles, bishop, and you're eyeing there. Let's see here, maybe something like that. The knight, and if a rook slides over, you castle, and I'm not sure who's better in this. This is very, yeah. But you really actually don't have dark square holes. This is very odd, I know, but it actually allows you to make your bishop better. It sounds funny. I know, but hey, you know what? You always gotta think about. You don't want to really be too definite with your pawn structure, because we learned today in the U.S. Championship that pawns can't go back, and I think in one of the woman championship games, a pawn was pushed. I'm trying to remember if it was if it was on the woman's side or the gentleman's side, or lady's side, or woman or gentleman's side. I'm not exactly sure. It was one of the I forgot which game it was, but when they pushed the pawn, they weren't able to put it back, and they wished they would have had it back on. I think it was like C2 or something like that, or C3. And so it's like, whoa. So you always got to be careful when you push, because our little soldiers are mighty, but they can't ever go back. So you have only a sitch I see as a potential weakness there. I know you got here and there, and then back and trades, queen trades, and potentially there. I don't know. It's interesting. I can't believe he checked though. But that makes the most actually practical sense if you think about it, because now your opponent provoked a weakness, and now we have the dark square weaknesses anyways. The other way, rather than that, would have been to have provoked it right away, and then kept the flexibility of later on playing f5. See, the reason I played g3 was to retreat back in there, and then you now have a g6, and g6 allows for an advance later on of f5, h5, potentially a knight, then h5, or knight e7, then f5. It's just, you just gotta have flexibility is huge when it comes to closed positions like this. You have to always, and it's not the principle of putting your pawns on opposite color your bishop, sorry, is really good. So you actually have, if you think about it, you have an advantage, because if you were able to trade these two knights off, and these queens off, and these rooks, and these rooks, and you got, we'll just put circles around them. Oops, sorry, not that one. So you guys, come on, put circles around them. Trade these guys off, and you're left with, oops, sorry, that's gonna be, oops, sorry, you're left with just the bishops. You actually have a better structure for winning, because there's only one point that's a weakness in an endgame. So you're playing really good endgame play. So I gotta say that's you're playing practical endgame, which is not bad at all. Queen. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. A check. Let's see, what do you have there? Okay. Yeah, he took every move has a weakness. King f8, queen b3. Uh-oh. Snap. Potentially, maybe queen here would have been slightly better, because then you're getting ready to provoke that weakness. Also, you have that. So let's say he plays something like this to let out. If he plays there, and his king's very uncomfortable. Like if he plays here, you potentially have a check. If he comes there, check, and then if he comes back, you have queen, you have a rook, something like that, Yeah. No, you're not. You didn't blunder a pawn. No, I was just showing you that what a move could a potential move. So, like if you wanted to tear the king's pawn structure apart, I've done this actually in a over the board game, and I won because I had a 3-pawn majority, and I had my king was castled actually in the variation, but very similar. So we got down to I had like 4 pawns versus a bishop, and I was able to win because I used the pawns to their mass effectiveness. There we go, perfect. Okay, then now he's gonna check on c8. Okay, it comes up. Bishop intercepts. Nice. Okay, perfect. Coordination's good. Let me see here. Oh, I can't play there. Potentially maybe that. Let's see if you played here. So he plays there. Now you're eyeing there. He plays there. Oh, sorry, he can't play there. So he's going to have to remove his knight. Maybe retreat here, and then if he plays there. No, he can't do that. So more likely he's going to have to play back here. Let's see. Are we almost taking away all of his squares? Potentially, he's almost all been deprived. Huh. Okay. Yeah. You just oh, nice, nice. Yeah, this actually is a as Andrew Mart says, bone in the throat. That A4 square, A4 pawn is a bone in the throat, because if he tries something like this, you can actually take. And then if he takes back, you can take here, and you've won your pawn back with actually really good play to boot. So knight f4, but the opponent isn't done yet. Yeah. You have a potential weakness here. So, did you take there? And this actually, I think, solidifies any problem you would have here. Or potentially, if must be, you always have a knight attack. That's it. That's an interesting idea. But he can't play there, so he can't play here. He could play there. Well, that provokes a weakness, so that you then can retreat back. And if he tries here, yeah, that is a problem now. Smack. Well, I guess you could push, and then have the bishop retreat back, and you still win a piece. You still win a pawn there. And then the bishop would have to retreat back all the way. Huh. And then you have a pin here. Yeah, that's devastating. Yeah. D6. Perfect. Good job. Ooh, you're going for the big crunch. Nice. Actually, that's not a. It's a pretty good move now that you think about it. No, it's actually a really good move. It takes advantage of a lot of themes. Or potentially, that might be an interesting idea. You know, this pin is a killer. Yeah. That's actually a good move too for defensive maneuvers, but and it protects your knight. Yeah. Maybe I'm too hasty with that. I think I might have been a little too hasty. That's probably, if we were to consider an idea, that's probably the best. If we were to move your knight, because it attacks here. He can't play there to block it. Potentially could do that. I don't know. That doesn't work. Interesting. No. I think that might. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. I'm trying to see, is there. Uh oh, that's not good. That's not good. Huh, interesting. I really don't see anything he can do after you move your king. You've got everything supported, and that's about to fall. Well, potentially maybe he can win that, but yeah, you have that, so can't take that pawn. Well, I guess you could. No. Well, if he checks there, I guess you could take there. So, and then if he takes, maybe better than bishop d potentially might be here. So that puts a pin there, and then now you can get and maybe I can't do that, so I'm not sure. You never give up. You always try to find a way through, because you're only down like 3 pawns. I mean, you're only down 2 pawns, so you still potentially have a chance. And if he tries to, I guess maybe you could potentially try that. And then, no, you probably have to come here. Check there. So, huh. I don't know that it's interesting. I think the pawn push that I played was incorrect there. So you have another game you would like to go over? It's you know what? It's a good learning good for learning for sure. Let's see here. Oh, not bad, 28 moves. So let's see, e4. Oh, perfect. I know this sounds funny. I do Yazzer, and then I play there, and then I bring my knight in. I know this. I know it's I know it's like what? You know, I mean, what are you doing? You're allowing development, but he's giving me the pawns. What? You know what? He gave me a pawn. Why not take it? And so that's what I did. Okay. Hmm. Try to keep it. And then if the knight moves here, alright, so that doesn't work. Actually, not bad. You can play there, so. Okay, let's go back here. Okay, boom, boom, boom. I think that would be a good discovery move. You have you can take here with yeah. I believe you actually win a piece. I think so. Well, he might try to stop castling, but I'm not. Should we retreat our? Should we worry about our dark square bishop? I don't know. And then if you try something like that, not sure. Huh. Maybe if you play something like that, takes. You don't want to do that because then you lose a piece. You actually lose a piece there. So you're gonna have to retreat back. Huh. Yeah, it's interesting. You win a piece, but kind of there was, I think it was Nazi played Anna, or I forgot the gentleman. I forgot the lady's name. She beat Rena not yesterday, not today, but the prior day, and she actually won a pawn. But by winning a pawn, her pieces got all muddled up, and so potentially maybe winning this, yes, we win a rook, but so potentially maybe better would be bishop takes the knight, and then if rook moves, then just retreat the bishop back. So what? He's got a rook. We have both knights. So maybe it would have been better to just get both knights, and then just be up a minor piece, but have your pieces more coordinated, and this bishop has no stopping of your castling ability. So is that rook really doing anything at this moment? Not really. It's also potentially on a pin. So you just gotta weigh the advantages, and I think it would be okay either way. But I'm not sure winning an exchange is. I guess we could win a piece, yeah. I just liked how they were positioned here, yeah. That's why, you know, when you look at Grandmaster games and you look at it and you go, what's going on? They had an opportunity to win a rook, you know, in the corner over here, and they chose to actually do the two bishops. There's a reason for that. Yeah, exactly. Let me see here. Do 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 do. Um, Let me see. What do we got here? What could we do? There has to be a tactic that arises somewhere in here, because the knight's dominated. I kind of like this move actually. I know it looks crazy, and you're like, but can't he just retreat back? Yeah, but then we have an attack like that. If he plays here, I don't know. Maybe I'm too aggressive in that line. Excuse me. Maybe challenging this there would have been better. Yeah, I'm mistaken. Sometimes the best thing to do is to challenge. Probably this here. Rook e5. I'd probably play rook bd8. And then if takes, and you're equal, and you actually have a more free king. So I really don't see any weaknesses for you. You potentially even could have played here if you felt kind of a little uncomfortable about that. That's a potential idea as well, with doubling capabilities. Alright, I believe maybe even potentially how crazy that looks. Maybe even there, and if he plays here, you play up there, and if he tries there, you then can play here. And I don't see, maybe he might try there, but then that could be actually sealed up with rook g8. And I don't know. I don't really like the pawn push. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else that could be played. You could also potentially just drop your, just say, you know what, the A pawn's not worth it. I want free rooks. Maybe just even dropping your, and then he potentially might play there. So I don't know if I like. Oh, wait a second. He can't. Sorry, my bad. He can't play here. Well, yeah, he can. I'm wrong because the queen's guarding it. So I believe probably best in that scenario is bishop. Not bishop. Rook b8 is best here. I'd probably say this one right here. Yeah. I don't. I'd say this bishop b8's best because it takes care of two ideas at one time. The white's idea is he wants to implant a take and queen check. Okay. There's no checks on that one. Okay. So oh. And oh, I gotcha. Yikes. Yeah, you're right. My bad. That was a mistake. So maybe that. Okay, snap. I probably then at this point probably I changed my recommendation. This one's best then. Cancel out the B8. This one's best then. So because the rook guard's here, this rook guard's there. There's no weak points, so I think we're good. Even if he plays here, there's really nothing he can do. That's guarded. That's guarded. That's guarded. That's guarded. So you're fine. Okay, but you're on to your other game. Yeah. Rook e1. True. Okay. Well, it's really hard when a king's exposed like that, so you have to be very careful because those subtle forks really can cause a bad day for you. Oh, yeah. Sweet. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so far development is adequate. I might have played. I know you're giving up your good bishop, but I like the kind of the setup we have here with this. I kind of like this for that purpose. And if he plays there, you always have that's locked down. Yeah, that is interesting. Because if you ever get cramped, of course, you guys know the principle. You trade pieces off to get uncramped. If you're the one in the squeeze, you just try to get as many pieces off the board as you can. Okay, so, okay. King h2 is interesting. You're getting off this pin so that you have a kingside attack. That makes sense. These pawns are protected, and there's only one problem. Later, that might be a sitch, but right now that's not a weak point, so you're still fine. Like if maybe he plays something like, and then something like that, maybe later on. Okay, let's see here. E7. You did good though, so everything's holding. It's all, you're holding the position, so. Were you trying to get f4 in right now? Is that what you were kind of thinking, and then play a potential e5. Like maybe if he plays something like that. And then something similar to this maybe. You have a majority on the king side. You're attacking the knight, and I think you're better in this scenario. It's kind of funny. Your light squared bishop was actually a bad bishop, and now it's actually a good bishop. So in a couple pawn moves, your bishop has just became a wonderful piece. Your light squared one in that one line we talked about. So there. Excellent. So far, so good. Okay, you're going for a big crunch. You gotta love that. You gotta love the big crunch. Bringing a rook up. I don't know. I don't really think there's really a problem. It does give away, I do see what you're saying, it does give away this point here. So if you you can't really push that because of there. Well, maybe you can prepare this push here with bishop f3 preparation wise, and then you can go h4, and then you may be able to, or maybe knight g1 and then f3 potentially, and maybe no, not a push there. Just try to see for preparation. So f5, knight d4, right? Knight d, yeah, okay. Yeah, I was thinking, I see what you're saying. Potentially, yeah, that might actually be better, and then you drop in something like that. Or here, you could potentially go here, and then in this type of position, you have to have a plan on where you want to put your pieces for sure. Maybe it might even be better to maybe move this, bring a rook over here, or something. Maybe if you get this bishop traded off here, maybe if you get the bishop for the knight, it does alleviate all this pressure, which would actually help you in that scenario. So maybe the idea is to get rid of that bishop on b6. That might be an idea. Oh, you want to check the line out? Look at the whole line. Yes, excellent. Will do. And so f5. Let's see. He doesn't have. He has. What is knight d4? Oh, instead of, okay, gotcha. I feel you. Gotcha. Okay, gotcha. All right, then you have e8. Gotcha. Rook e1. c5. Snap, it's too bad you didn't have a bishop here. You could play there. That'd be sweet. Man, it's too bad this bishop wasn't like somewhere like that. That'd be lovely. So, or that'd be really nice. So that you could play f5, then when bishop takes, pawn takes, and whoop, there you go. Yeah, there's no protection of, there's not enough protectorates of this. So you wouldn't be able to play f5 there, yeah. So okay, you wanted to play c2. Uh-huh. Yeah, you don't really want to, at this moment, mess with your structure. Potentially, I kind of see your idea. You want to, but well, he can't actually play there, can he? I was thinking that you might, or you're thinking something like that. And that takes scope on that bishop. So very, very interesting position. Yeah, that actually is not a bad move. Okay. Yeah, exactly. That would make his bishop in that one line you showed a bad. His dark squared bishop would be bad. Hey, how you doing? Okay. I'd probably have played. Maybe something like that. Yeah. And then he has that there. Just take a look to see if there's any lines of entry that we can. Not that I see. Yeah. Potentially. That actually looks potentially like a nice idea. I know it kind of looks awkward, but this actually takes scope on there, and the queen potentially would come in here. So after like takes, pawn takes, queen slides in. Maybe something like that. Nice. So far, so good. Uh-oh. You never love when a pin arises like that. So maybe just dropping back is forced, and then if that is played, kind of you may have to just drop back. R takes there, and then if bishop takes, And then he takes there. Something like that. Where? You have somewhat of a kind of mating threat there. So you have to play something like that. And I guess you have a check. Well, I don't know if I'd want to check. Maybe queen. Oops. Maybe there. If that's well, he can't take there. So he'd probably have to retreat back here. Maybe something like that. And then you have there. Interesting. I think I would have traded there. And you'd at least had an exchange, so. And then potentially maybe something like that. I don't know. It's different. So I think the difference is actually that. That changes everything in the position. Your bishop is kind of not happily placed, so maybe something similar to that might, and that actually covers here. So just trying to see what. I don't think that's best. Yeah. I'm trying to see this. I know you're down an exchange, but you shouldn't actually be losing here. See, after you trade off that knight, you're in a hard sitch, but not dire. Maybe something just like that. And let's say he plays knight in there. Bishop takes. It is kind of a tough sitch to be in, yeah. You said you might have another game. Do you have another game, or are all these games, are these the games you wanted to go over? Yeah. Well, there's always chance for your opponent to, in this type of a sitch here, this tight structure, for them to go wrong. You never know, you know what I mean? You never know. Yeah, do you have another game, or would you like to go over some puzzles? I mean, because we can go over a game. Actually, let's see, how many games is the Fabi? Oops. We'll finish up the Fabi versus Izor game. It's just you always have to remember that pawn, keeping your pawn skeleton. That's what they call it, because it's like the body of the chessboard. It's your skeleton that you build stuff around your pawns. To keep it flexible, it's even like working out. If you do stretches and you do enough stretches, your muscles stretch out, and then your spots where muscles could be built stretch, and you can get bigger, and you become more flexible. And that's my teacher actually was really into the martial arts, and he talked about how in the martial arts that it's all about flexibility, and so that's what he taught me, and so that's how Aikido also I learned about Aikido is through that type of studies as well. And Aikido is, if you want to think about it, is flexibility, and also you're not rushing your opponent. You're giving them what they want. Like back in that one game when we played, we were black and we played G6. We gave our opponent what they wanted. They wanted us to provoke a weakness, but we provoked a weakness on our terms so that we can retreat our bishop back and then bring it in when the pawn was up here and that pawn was back. It was the way we wanted it. Okay, we'll get on to Fabi's game now. Knight G3. Rook E8. Okay, there we go. So they're positioning their pieces so that, if you notice, they're always planning on central mobility. Yeah, Krav Maga. Yep, that's it. And the whole basis of Krav Maga is that you use your surrounding. So like if you're forced to give an exchange up, a rook for like a bishop, you know what? You just you're down in exchange, but you still have a piece. So you just have to make that piece better than the piece that you had to exchange it for, the counterpart. So there we go. Okay, and by this move, Fabi, I wanted to tell you, stopped a lot of Izor strengths. Yep, that is true. Very true. Because it really is. Other martial arts don't apply in tight locations, but Krav Maga actually does. You use whatever you have on hand to a max effect. That's why, like I said, if you're down a rook for a knight, you just use your knight better than you would have used your rook, and that'll keep you in the game, and it won't make you guys all flustered like, oh no, I lost a rook for a knight. You just say, how could I make this knight better than the rook that I lost? Well, you didn't lose it. How could I make my knight better for the exchange? Because you still have a piece, it's just a different piece, and you just have to make the position flow to the mat to make that piece better. And I actually one time was down in exchange, a rook for a knight, and I realized that knights love close games, so I locked up the close games. Yeah. Oh, knight G. Oh yeah, knight G6. That's a point that I wanted to look at as well. Oh, you wondered why knight G. Okay, let's take a look at this scenario. What piece? Just step back for a second and think. What piece of Fabi's isn't really well placed? This knight on h4. So Fabi would have been more than happy to have traded that off and have fractured Izor's pawn structure. Oh, you want to play? I got you. You want to play G? Okay, I see. You want to play G6? Okay, I got you. I see what you're saying. I thought you meant knight G6. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I gotcha. I think he was afraid of that weakness there, and also if that ever gets pushed, potentially Fabi can direct a knight. Yeah, it's kinda. I see what you're. Oh, I gotcha. I see what you're saying. If he goes G5 though, yeah, Fabi has that, and he's actually doing really good. Maybe his idea was knight h5 g6. Yeah, I think potentially. I think that might have been what you. Yeah, like when he played there. To actually, let's see. Let's say no. But you got to think. Remember when he moved the knight? What did he leave behind? This square right here. The knight was once protecting here, so Fabi jumped right in with his knight. Now that's an attack. There's an attack coming here, an attack coming here, an attack coming here. This knight can actually maybe come back here. Then you play up, reroute in, and then start an onslaught. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Really, this provoked this move here provoked this weakness, and so potentially now the knight has a maybe here. Let's see. How can we reroute this knight? We'd have to move the bishop, wouldn't we? Like if he played here, here, and back in. I don't know. That this knight's kind of awkwardly placed now, but it's better than back there because now this queen could cause some damage to the knight. The reason Fabi played f4, guys, if you're wondering, was when this knight moved back to h7, it's no longer attacking there, so f4 is a practical way of playing b. Also, now Fabi has the potential to replace the knight to f3 as well, so Fabi's knights are all well placed. Yeah, you don't want to trade. You would not, and whatever you do, guys, don't trade the queen off in this scenario. Leave these knights awkwardly placed. So Fabi played the correct move by getting the queen out of there, and the queen actually blocks these knights. So this knight only has 1 point of exit, and this one has 1 point of exit, but they all go to squares that can't be entered, that can't be entered once that moves. This can't be entered here because of that, and it can't be entered there, can't be entered there, so yeah, so yeah, like here, potentially there. Something similar to that is an interesting idea. Yeah. Queen. Now he's got to trade on his terms. If this queen ever took, the pawn would actually not the pawn. The knight would take back, and I believe Fabi has more than adequate compensation for the exchange if he wants to do that. This is actually a really good move. I like that move. Yeah. Oh, you want to check that out? Okay. I don't think Fabi would have liked to have a rook just like down his throat, attacking here and there. So yeah. No, it's not a live. It's a this is actually a game prior. It was a game from this morning. Fabi versus okay. Okay, I think knight B. Interesting for sure. Then you cement your structure. I think white's winning here. Yeah, because of how awkwardly, so potentially maybe that would be provoked. Yeah. Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah, let's see. Oh, you're talking about C4. Okay, I gotcha. Let's see here. What am I doing? Let me see here. So knight C2 is too passive. Okay. So B5, knight A2. Okay, rook B8, C4, B4, knight B. Let's say he plays there. I'd probably play here to take advantage of that. Then he'd play there, I'd take there. Potentially doubling up here. Probably something similar to that. And doubles up there, doubles up here. You'd probably have to move back there. And at this point I'd take. And he can't take back because he would lose his rook, so he can't play his rook there. So more likely he'd play here, there, 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 and I believe knight would have to actually come in here. Then you can actually play your pawn up and that line's protected. Yeah, this is totally winning for... It says it's equal. I don't know if it's equal. I think it's better for... Let me see. Yeah, it's much better. That's right. It's so much better for white in this line. Because then you have something like that, and it's like there's really no way to stop this queening from happening. Yeah. See, a lot of the supers use like engines, and they have seconds that go through and scour the engines, and they put certain openings in, certain moves in, and they find the subtle weaknesses in the moves by using the engines, and that's the lines that they learn. Because I noticed that a lot of I kind of track the moves of the grandmasters with the engines, and the supers usually are, there's like 3 lines on chess 24, and they're somewhere in between those 3 lines, number 1, number 2, and number 3. They play somewhere within there, and so it tells you that they're using engine thought. But you remember, you can use an engine, but if you don't understand the moves behind it, you're just memorizing, and you're basically just parroting the engine, but there's principles behind each move. Excuse me, sorry about that. A little thirsty there. Okay, bishop b6, so king moved there. Oh wait, okay, there. Okay, he locked down that. And there. Let me see here. If he can't really do in passing on that, because that would allow the knight to actually come in, and that would isolate this pawn though. Actually, potentially, probably he'd take with the bishop. Keep this pin. Maybe not. Maybe he would take with the knight. I'm second thinking on that. And then he has that there. Interesting. Zero. Okay. He lost 8. You can check out on chess 2024. It shows the ratings, or you can go to I think it's chess 2000 2700, and it shows all the live ratings if you're wondering about that, like where all the supers are in their rating. That's there. But Fabi will recover. Yeah, Fabi will recover. So don't worry, guys. Everybody has a hiccup every once in a while. Sometimes, you know what, you get that you want to push it. So queen takes, let's see. Yeah, queen g5. Yeah, you wouldn't want to do that. I think here he potentially should have went for a draw. This is actually a drawish line. I don't think there's any way. This kind of there's really no way to make black's position better. I think it's locked at a certain level, but see, Fabi's like 2,800. This gentleman's like 2,500, almost into 2,600 level. So they do make slight inaccuracies, and I think that's kind of why Fabi played on to see if his opponent would make a inaccurate move, and then he can slowly take advantage of that inaccurate move and maybe take a 0.3 and start helping that become a 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, and then eventually maybe he'll have a one pawn with the engine advantage. But his opponent actually missed that line. H5 is really, it gives the king a flight square, also the queen a potential, as they say in Monopoly, a get out of jail free card to go to H6 if it ever gets, harassed or something, like with here. If this queen moves like here and the knight goes there, the queen can always come back and then reroute itself in later on to the fight. So, but he also made a slight inaccuracy as well. And bishop d3, queen takes, knight takes, and Fabi's knights are slightly more attackive if you're attacking. His opponent, Izor, actually, majority of his pieces are on the queen side, and Fabi has the majority of his pieces on the king side. So, and this bishop's actually attacking on the king side. If you look, with one move it opens up an attack. So he's got 4 out of his 5 pieces eyeing the king, and Izor only has really 1, and it's staring at a pawn. So, and then this knight is over here, I don't know what, doing what, but potentially maybe it's trying to undermine that there, potentially. But that could actually easily be parried with, or parried with that. So, interesting. Oh, I don't know. I didn't really prefer that move there. That was, I was like, huh. Well, maybe he wants to do something like that, or there, something like, and maybe get a rook there. That's a 4 move, though. It is closed, so you can actually do that. H4, H5, knight D2, rook B1, knight E7, and he missed the locking down move, which would pacify this king, this bishop, and it would get this. And we're just going to go over the computer line. So, knight E4. This is actually, if you think about it, back here, this is a really good move. It stops that. So like if he played that now, he wins. He could even play there. And if, oops, sorry, my bad. Where's that? Hold on. Drat. where I went wrong somewhere. Hold on, let me see. Sorry, guys. And if that's played here, you then could potentially, let's see. That is an interesting move. That's, huh. Hmm. Interesting. Maybe something like that. Then there. I don't know. Now that I look at it, I really don't like that. Yeah, I don't know about that. That is interesting. So maybe knight takes is actually better than here, there. I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah, that's kind of crazy there. I don't like that. I reconsider. It's kind of a confusing move. You'd have to actually play there. You'd have to let him actually play here, then take, and then potentially have to play the knight up here. That's a crazy move. It's not. Let's just say that's not a human move. That's more of a computer line. I don't know if I would consider, willingly opening up this here. That just doesn't seem human-like play to me. E2, F5. Ooh, yeah. This is when the heat in the kitchen the oven started to be turned up a little bit. It went from simmer to 2. And then it got oh, so he did do that. Sweet. You gotta love this, because he can actually take there. I don't know. I might have actually played here and gotten in behind this pawn here. And if he tried something like that, well, I guess he could play that, couldn't he? Yeah, you probably wouldn't want to surrender that. Now that we think about it. And now you get a fork. I don't know. I might have actually taken there, and then at this point take here. And even if the rook takes, knight takes, I think I would have played something like that. I think that's actually what potentially was later on played in the game. So yeah, let's see if we're right. Why doesn't that work? Let's see. Oh, smack. Ouch. Okay, that was an error on my part there. So he did play the correct move. Alright, he picked off a pawn. He took there. Yeah, this was the... Yeah. This double attacks and they were potentially thinking that it would have been better for something like this to have actually my back here, sorry. This would have actually been better. And if the knight then took here, or he can't then play here, so the knight would have to take, and then you can play rook takes, and if something like that, then you have that, and if he trades here, Fabi still has a this pawn here with that protected there, protected here. But they were getting low on time at this part, and this was actually the slightly inaccurate move. Yeah, that's what the idea was actually all about. So that if he took there, he would take here, and even in this scenario right here, this knight is awkwardly placed. It really it has a point of entry and something like that. But then the knight would kind of have to jump around, and you could play your king back and reroute your knight here and attack that pawn. So it tells you one slight inaccurate move in the endgame really turns the tide. Let's see here. Potentially, I don't know if that was good. Let's see. I think he could hold here. I think potentially this is a draw. So there's a draw there. We did find the draw, guys. Even in that line. And I believe Fabi could have actually won. Could have drawn here if he would have found this line here. Sometimes you just get a little too, I find myself too aggressive. Yeah, it's all over here, yeah. We'll see what happened here, okay. We'll just go through it a little quicker. And he resigned. But you know what? We all have those moments. But guess what? We learn from them. We get better and we move on. Well, guys, I thank you for logging on. We'll do tactics tomorrow, but this was a good learning right now, and I appreciate that y'all came on. And well, maybe we could do we'll do one tactic. Okay, we'll do one tactic, and then I'll log off. Because I know we do a tactic a night, so let's see if we can get this tactic here, and then we'll just do this one, and we'll work hard to get it. So let's do this. Yeah, I think it was Yazzer who said that time makes a fool of us all. Our time pressure. So it's just how it is sometimes. We're not hardcore like a computer that we don't we can't process that fast and have nerves of steel when it comes down to time like that. Let's see here. Let me see here. Okay. When that took there, it's attacking our bishop, but remember, this whole line's open. So is there any way we can see if we played interesting. So potentially a knight move might bring about some attack too. So if we played here, let's just say that he moved there. We could actually take at that point. Huh. Yeah, that is an interesting. I believe you're right on that. Now that we look at that, wow, it covers that. Yeah. Yeah. I believe you're right. That actually makes the most practical sense in this line here. I forgot that was that this rook guards that and this bishop, so the queen's being sliced here and being diced there. So the only move that would save the queen is like what you're saying, rook f7. And let's see what happens after that. I guess we could win the pawn at, well, no, no. No, we take here. Huh. So here, here. What do we do after that though? We could actually just put the pressure on even more with rook HE1. Then we lose our bishop. We can retreat our bishop back too. Yeah, let's give that a shot. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, we'll end on that. That's a perfect one to end on. Good job, guys. Good job. Excellent. So, do you have any questions on what black should play? Should we look at? Yeah, take the queen. Should we look at? Let's just take a look what would happen if we played here, because I'm curious actually. Okay, so we just take the pawn. And then when the knight moved there, I think you just snap probably that off. Wow. Why that? Wow. Pain. Smack, man. That's nothing but pain, and so this actually has to be played here. Oh man. And so he plays there. And then we just retreat back. It's like, look at that knight. That knight went up here threatening that. We win the queen, right? He comes over, wins a pawn, and the knight just gently moves back like, I'm here, my queen. I will guard you to the bitter end. And it's like, that's just insane. And then all of a sudden we just bring our bishop back, and look at that. We're just like destroying our opponent. Man, oh Manischewitz, wow. I'm wondering though what happens if he plays there. Oh, we just take. Actually, we can just take the rook. Then if he takes the knight, we take the bishop. First of all, take the bishop. Then if the bishop takes, then we take here. Yeah, and we're just destructive. We're destroying. Did that answer everybody's questions about? Let me go back. Where are we here? Let me get. Hold on. Did that? Oops, my bad. There we go. We're back up. Did that answer everybody's question about there? Okay, perfect. Well, guys, thank you. Like I said, for logging on. We gotta, pray for the players at the chess, U.S. chess, that they play good games so that we can go over them and learn. And always remember, guys, keep on doing good and getting better, because it's all about improving. That's what it's about. And remember, we can do this, okay? We have to it's slow improvements, but trust me, in the end, you'll play better and we'll get better. So, and we all make mistakes. But guess what? If we learn from them, which Fabi will, he'll come back a stronger player and be even better from that. And so remember, there's always a plan in the position. That's how we have to remember. There's always a plan in the position. And just remember, time trouble, you have to be careful with that as well. So that teaches us don't get low on time. And, as always, like Wesley So says, serve the Lord Jesus. And I say, God bless, guys, and I'll see you next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Have a great night, morning, or evening. And if you guys can, watch the U.S. Chess Championship right now, because there's going to be a really good one on the ladies' side. It's going to be Arena versus Nazi, and that's going to be really, really good one. So I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Be blessed, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.